Hello viewers, we are very excited to be back with a new episode of the NIBM podcast series NIBM Insight. I'm very happy to have with me here Dr. Sarita Bhatnagar, my faculty colleague. Dr. Sarita is Associate Professor in the Strategic Planning and Marketing Area Group at National Institute of Bank Management. Her core area of research is Financial Services Marketing, SME Bank Relationship and Customer Relationship Management. Dr. Sarita has conducted more than 130 executive development programs and has extensive experience in both teaching and training and research. I'm so happy to be talking to you, Sarita. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Smita, for this very nice introduction and having me on this podcast series. Thank you.
So let's begin, and I'm very excited because we are going to talk of digital evolution and the emergence of new banking models. I think digital and technology is the new. There's a lot of cacophony in banking on both of these terms. So sometimes it's not only the customer but also the banking professionals are confused. So we would want to hear from you, what are the major technological advancements that are going to be there which are going to impact banking?
Yeah, so Smita, if we talk about technology and banking, as you rightly say, there's so much going on and mostly it is about technology in banking. So much so that some of the banks refer themselves as technology companies rather. So the future of banking in this context would be that there is going to be a completely new set of competition to banking, possibly from those organizations which may not have any financial exposure. Also, the customers are going to be hugely empowered, having sophisticated demands and also a highly informed customer base. And also the future of banking will encompass completely new ways of accessing banking. So this, I must say, the future of banking is very interesting, and at the core of it is new ways of value delivery and value creation.
And what are these new technological advancements or disruptive technologies that we will see?
Yeah. So first and foremost is the internet and mobile. So as we are all aware, internet proliferation is so much that now the cost of reaching millions of customers is very less, and mobile has enabled the one-to-one conversation with the end customer. Now when more and more customers are using mobiles to interface with the internet, banks have an opportunity to give their messages, their products and services which are hyper personalized to the segment of one. So that is the power of mobile and internet, as well as now the advancements in cloud computing. Now this leads to the banks having immense cost cutting and operational efficiencies when they want to use the large amount of data and data processing in respect to customers. Also the technology like big data analytics. So big data is characterized by volume, velocity and variety. So banking customers are producing a large amount of data in terms of their social media interaction, in terms of their internal data which they share with the bank, their varied transactions, their queries, their searches, and all of this along with the external databases creates a big data. Now big data analytics is a technology which helps banks to make sense of this immense data. So possibly the data mining and other analytics techniques, they help banks to make out insights which were earlier impossible to get. Now these smart insights are available with the banks to do more accurate targeting, more accurate segmenting, more new products, next best product offer, and so on and so forth. Another emerging technology is in the artificial intelligence and machine learning. So artificial intelligence is known to reduce the cost of prediction. So when there is a large amount of data, now artificial intelligence makes very promptly the use of that data in making predictions and decisions. Machine learning enables the technologies to learn, machines to learn and do functions by themselves. So both of these technologies also will automate the banking processes and free up the manpower to do more creative work. So that is the power of AI and ML. Similarly, there is technology of API, which is considered to be a game changer in banking. So in simple terms, API are the technologies which enable the software conversations, if I may say so.
Yes.
So the bank's data, bank's transaction can be accessed by other third parties to develop new products and services. And also this reduces the work on the part of the bank and provides the customer onboarding to be very easy. So API technology is there. Then there is Internet of Things. So you are hearing a lot about video KYC. So the customer onboarding also, KYC also is becoming very easy by Internet of Things, in addition to a number of services like peer-to-peer lending or personal financial management. Then there are virtual assistants and chatbots. So human-like interfaces, human-like interactions, which can be delivered by the chatbots. And these chatbots will help immensely in customer service, resolving customer queries, and doing repetitive customer-related tasks. Now, virtual assistants are a step more ahead than the chatbots, because virtual assistants also have the capabilities of natural language processing and predictive analytics. So, this will help even more sophisticated customer-related tasks for the bank without having much of human interactions. So, these intelligent virtual assistants today are more obvious when we see the personal financial management, which is emerging as a new cutting edge marketing strategy for most of the banks and financial institutions. So, these are some of the technologies, Smita.
Very interesting. I mean, we encountered these as customers every day, and from the marketing point of view, I think each of these technologies have been so well used. I mean, banks are trying to use it to the maximum. I would want to know, are the banking models evolving therefore? I mean, bits and pieces we can see, but have the banking model itself evolved?
Yeah. So, in this context, I will say that the technology evolution in number of decades, right from the introduction of ATMs in 1950s and cards in 1960s, it has been an evolutionary. But for the last 1.5 decade, it has become revolutionary.
Right.
And in the last couple of years, it has become disruptive. So when this disruption comes, one thing it brings is disaggregation of banking services, which means that the transaction costs are reduced and the information costs are reduced. A lot of information and interaction is there, and at the same time the transaction cost is reduced. So now customers can have their own suite of products, and that is enabled by adoption of platform-based models of banking. Now, platform-based models are not only coming to banking, they have been in other services like big tech and retail. For example, the most common is your cab sharing services or Airbnb.
Right.
So, platform model is all about consummating matches between providers and consumers. And it works on a networks effect. So, network effect, as opposed to our traditional linear business model, works on having more customers and more providers. When more customers are there and more providers are there on a platform, there is a synergy and which increases the value of the platform. So, the power is information and interactions. Now, how does this come to banking? There are several banking platform models which are evident today in banking. For example, the most common is the neobanking. So, neobanking essentially also is a platform where there can be a front-end neobank or there can be a full-stack neobank. So, neobanks are essentially digital-only banks where they provide all the services to the customers through the digital touchpoints. Front-end neobanks will not have a banking license. They cannot make loans on their balance sheet or deposits, but they will use the legacy bank and provide the legacy bank with the capabilities of a neobank, the digital bank. For example, YONO is doing the same. And then there can be a full stack digital bank, so which will have also the regulation and it can provide the digital banking services. Similarly, there is a marketplace model. So what marketplace model does is that a bank has some core products and services which it is specialized in, but it can rope in other third-party providers to provide the other augmented services to customers. So customers, for example, can make their own suite of products with the core products of the bank, like Starling Bank of UK is doing that. And at any point of time, the customers also can disengage with those providers. So this gives customers a lot of flexibility in choosing the products and services of their choice. Similarly, there is another popular model which is called platform banking. The name itself is platform banking. So it provides the bank provides the governance and access to non-banking entities. So in addition to banks products, non-banking entities can provide their products on the banking platform, which is regulated. So it can not only be the financial products, this platform can provide also the non-financial lifestyle products to the customers. So customers just need to onboard to a banking platform and they will have all their requirements fulfilled by the platform. These platforms can also be in terms of payment platforms, communication platforms, for example, WhatsApp Pay. Essentially, it's a communication platform used for financial transactions.
Right.
And then there is another platform model that is banking as a service. In this case also, with the use of APIs, the bank's transaction and bank's customer information can be accessed by a third party, not necessarily a bank. And now the customers of that third party can have access to the bank's product. So this is how banking as a service works, and the bank can take a fee-based approach to this. And most common example of banking as a service is State Bank of India when it provides the Uber drivers with vehicle finance. It can be understood as banking as a service model. So I think, Smita, these are some of the ways. Another way is open banking. So UPI is the most ubiquitous form which our banking customers are using. And UPI is a form of open banking platform where a customer can have his multiple bank accounts aggregated on one bank, and then the payments and other transactions are enabled. So here again, the UPI is enabled by the API technologies, and it creates a platform for availing a large number of services. So these are the models, and I would like to add that what change these new banking models are going to do, eventually the change is in value creation. So these are providing new avenues of value creation for the banks, and the winners will be those who will be able to create better matches between consumers and providers.
Absolutely. So I think that's very exciting because with these changes, the technological changes, regulation is going to change in so different ways, and as we understand from whatever you have said, the regulator will have to look into all of these ways in which technology is going to interact with the front face, and so the entire banking landscape is going to change, and I'm sure it's going to be very exciting. So thank you for giving us these insights into the entire gamut of what can happen in terms of technology and banking. It was very nice talking to you. Anything else which you want to add in terms of the research going forward in this area?
Yeah, so my research paper, Technology Evolution and developing business models, emerging business models, talks about these business models, and one of the conclusion is that in the end, the customers are going to benefit because of these developments, and customers are going to have a better access, better convenience, and more choice as a result of these developments. So thank you so much, Smita.
Thank you.
And it has been a pleasure talking to you on this topic. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And viewers, hope you had a very good time with all these elaborate insights into technology and banking. Happy listening.